علم واليقين بالصالحين فاطر السماوات والأرض أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفني مسلما واليقين بالصالحين. All knowledge belongs to Almighty Allah. All knowledge comes from the above. We have a little to share with one another. He knows even the very secrets hidden in our hearts. Allahu alimun bizat sudur. We have a little knowledge to share with one another and impart to you people as teachers. As appears from the topic, the English language, it is a very vast topic. People have reflected on it for centuries together, right from elementary level to master's level. This topic has been very much talked about. And here we are to talk to you something about the topic. This language is about 1100 years old. Long ago, some other languages were spoken in England. As it appears from the word English, this language comes from England. Although this language is spoken across the UK, this language mainly hails from England, where the English people dwell. Long ago, there were 4 parts of the United Kingdom, namely London, the largest one, with its capital, the largest city of the United Kingdom. The other is Scotland, Wales, and the 4th one was Ireland. Ireland is now an independent country with her own currency, constitution, legislature, and foreign policy. So we are now left with 3 main parts of the United Kingdom. England being the largest one. So this language is about 1100 years old, and it was never language of England right from beginning. Like many other languages of the world, this is a borrowed language. Borrowed in the sense it has been made with the mixture of several languages: Latin, French, German, Dutch, Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, Turkish, and so on. Mainly, this language has been derived from Latin and French. From Latin we have French, and from French we have the English language. If you happen to read any manuscript or any script in the French language, you will find the same letters as we have in the English language. The letters are the same, but pronunciations are different because it is a different language. But alphabet or characters are the same. So this language, which is about a century and more old, it mainly comes from 2 tribes. Long ago, 2 tribes invaded England. They were Normans and North, Anglo and Saxons. Wealth, economic attractions, people, land, they have always been center of attention of people, especially English people, Dutch, German, and French. So 2 tribes, Anglo and Saxons, invaded England. And they brought with them their own languages. With the mixture of languages already there, a new language came into being, and it came to be called Anglo-Saxon or the Old English. After that, 2 other tribes invaded England for money, wealth, economic interest, and power. They were Normans from Normandy, France, and Northmen from Holland, now called Netherlands. Again, with the mixture of 2 other languages, with the language already spoken there, a new language came into being that was called Middle English, the Middle English. Thenceforward, there were no more invasions against England, and the language developed under its own impetus. In 16th century, two great things were invented, and they added much to the development of the English language there and across the world. One was the invention of paper by China, and the other was invention of the printing press in England by William Caxton, perhaps in 1526. So with these two inventions, a great development took place. All manuscript books written and other were brought to the press, published, and sent to the markets for sale and to libraries for general reading public. In this way, the English language developed a lot. But what was the main reason behind the development of the English language? That was something else. This is all local in England and in the United Kingdom. The English people have been very much adventurous right from beginning, like Dutch, German, and French. Some Englishmen went as far as North America, where now Canada and the US are located. They went there, ruled for quite some time, and he spread the English language there. Also, some of them went to Latin America, South America, and some other parts of the continent. One person, very renowned, who discovered the southern pole, where now Australia and New Zealand are located, it was Captain Thomas Cook. Like other English people who went to northern pole and established a new countries, USA, Canada there, it was Captain Thomas Cook who sailed around the world. He was a great sailor. He circumnavigated. While going around the world, he found a very beautiful land, lush green, full of wildlife, full of water, natural water resources and fresh water resources, and forest, snow-capped mountains, and very much rich in minerals which he could observe there. So this was the main attraction, that he wanted to have English people settle there. And that was the first ever settlement of the English people in southern pole, now called New Zealand, Australia. The economists say that it is easy to transfer or conveyance or transport commodities from one part of the world to other. But it is very hard to communicate or convey or convince or transport human beings from one part of the world to the other. Because human beings have attachment, family, brothers, sisters, relatives, and other members of society to which they are very much connected. So it was difficult to send people from one part of the world to the other, as far as now Australia. He requested Queen Victoria. That was the age or period or rule of Queen Victoria, who ruled the longest ever period in England, about 60 years. She was very good at so many things, a good diplomat, good ruler, and women are full of insight and acumen. So Captain requested him to allow some people to come with him to that part of the world where he had recently been. She thought over it and came to the conclusion that there was no other way out except sending those people there who were behind the bars. Prisoners, highwaymen, gangsters, murderers, other criminals. They were asked to leave the country and go to that part of the world where Captain Thomas wanted them to be, to settle. It was a hard, very difficult solution, but it was to happen anyhow. 3 or 4 full ships of men sailed to Australia, and they settled there. It has been more than 290 years they have been there. They found very much lonely. Allah says in the Holy Quran, we created you Joda, Zawjan. You can't live without women. So it was again a problem how to settle people there without women, without sisters, mothers, brothers, other members of family, in-laws, and so on. So Captain came back and requested Queen Victoria again to allow some women to go there and settle there. Again, there was a problem. Men were okay, they could go, but how women could go there? It's a very difficult problem. But English women, as other women of the world like French, German, Dutch, and so on, they were brave enough to go there. Volunteer women, say about hundreds of women, became ready to go there. And they traveled as far as Australia. And they married together. Now it has been more than 290 years, as I said earlier, they have been there. उनकी 7वीं या 8वीं या 9वीं पीढ़ी वहाँ रह रही है, 290 साल हो गए. In this way they settled there and a new country came into being. Wherever the English people were, they really developed the English language there. Its language, grammar, structure, education, and so on. Some of the Englishmen from Australia traveled as far as New Zealand. As we have Bay of Bengal in between Pakistan and India, about 100,000 kilometers, the same 100,000 miles, 1,000 miles from here to Bangladesh. In between there is Tasman Sea, a Bay of Bengal. And between Australia and New Zealand, there is Tasman Sea. The distance is the same, 1,000 miles. And by air, you may travel in 2.5 hours from Sydney or from Melbourne or from others. It takes about 2.5 hours as it takes from here to Karachi and Dhaka and other part of that part of the world. So there people settled in New Zealand as well, and English language developed very much there. So language always takes some time to develop. All languages have generously borrowed from other languages. But the only language that has never been ever borrowed from other language is the Arabic language. It has ages. Very old Arabic, classical, then early modern, then modern and late modern. The best way to understand languages is their religious books, commentaries, and critical books. For example, we have the Holy Quran in Arabic. This is the language of Almighty Allah. The best grammar, best ever vocabulary, best ever structure, you'll find in the Holy Quran, no in other book. The same way, the English books of great authors like John Milton, William Wordsworth, William Shakespeare, John Keats, Percy Bysshe Shelley, Samuel L. Coleridge, Francis Bacon, Edmund Spencer, they have written a lot and developed the language to a highest degree. And that's why we have a very good language today across the world, even spoken, written, listening, and writing. Now, early language of the English language. In English has also certain stages. Old language means very classical English language. Then we have classical, then Middle English, then modern English, then late modern English. In this way, we have 5 kinds of English developed with the passage of time. Now, borrowings into the English language. Like other languages, the English language has generously borrowed from the other languages. It is not a pure language, as Arabic is. For example, from Asian languages, tea is a Chinese word. Rickshaw is a Japanese word. Coffee is a Turkish word. Then tug, sipai, goni, lathi, kacha, pakka, lasi, they are from Sanskrit, now called Hindi. Sanskrit is now obsolete language, but it has lent very much on the languages of Asia. So we have Hindi language. From this Hindi language, we have borrowed many words into the English language. Examples from the lesson. Let me give you 4 very good examples of the borrowings of the English language from other languages. If you happen to go through the lesson, the English language, in first year, on the last page of the lesson, you will find 4 examples, the borrowings from the other languages. The first word is there, admiral, means Amir al-Bahar, the highest rank of naval force or naval army. This word originally comes from Amir al-Bahar. Amir al-Bahar means the prince of the sea, the highest rank of naval force. This word comes from the Arabic language. And English scholars from Amir al-Bahar made Amiral, A-M-I-R-A-L. Later, some misguided scholars thought that D was missing in the first syllable. Now what is syllable? Syllable is a kind of word with pieces inside. For example, dot, pot, caught, rot, not, sought, they have one syllable. In Urdu, Sindhi we call pad, pe, dal, pad. Other example, discipline. No matter how fast or slow you speak, it has 3 syllables, discipline. 3 पद है और पद की निशानी लैंग्वेज में डिक्शनरी के मुताबिक दरमियान में डॉट आता है, discipline. This is the sign of syllable, means separation, separate parts of a word. Administrator. Again, no matter how fast or slow you speak, it has 4 syllables. Administrator. Now this word, if you pronounce, you can pronounce in one time. Learned. Learned mana seekha. In adjective, you have to make it in 2 parts. Learned. Learn means 2 syllables. So the misguided scholars thought that D was missing in the first syllable, like amiral. They thought there should be D. So they made admiral from amiral. So again, I would say this word came from the Arabic language, amiral bar. Second word on that page is yacht. Y-A-C-H-T. The Dutch people gifted a wedding gift, a hunting boat yacht to their king as a wedding gift. This word originally comes from the Dutch language. It means the fast hunting boat, tez raftar shikari kashti. They used to catch wild animals, birds, through that yacht means small boat. So this word is from the Dutch language. Third word on that page is sandwich. Sandwich. In Sindhi Urdu we call samosa pakoda. This word has never been an international English word. Like yacht, this is also one of the foreign language words. This comes originally from the Earl of Sandwich. As we say, Nawab of Kalabagh, Mir of Falana Tarpur Khan Bahadur, Sai Vadera, these are titles. Earl is also a title. The Earl of Sandwich was a habitual gambler, so much so that he would go on gambling throughout night without stopping for dinner or supper. So most of the time he went hungry. His servant felt for him. He wanted to have something for his master. So he invented a form of meal called sandwich. He took some pieces of onion, tomato, or onion rings, maybe some boiled egg, and filled in the 2 loaves or 2 pieces of loaf. So in this way he made a new form of bread or meal that was called sandwich. नमाज के बाद रिज्यूम करते हैं. Resuming after Asr prayer break, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Coming back to word sandwich. This comes from the Earl of Sandwich. His servant invented a kind of fast meal. And we ascribe or attribute it to the Earl of Sandwich. It's not purely English word, but it has been in the English dictionary for many, many years. And we use it in everyday life. The fourth word that appears in that lesson is television. Tele means Doordarshan, to see far off things quite near, just in your drawing room or home or any other place or hotel. So tele is a Greek word and vision is a Latin word. On this pattern we have telephone, telegraph, teleprinter, telecast, telebusiness, telecommunication, teleprinter, and so on. So this language really is a rich language in vocabulary. Now something about India and subcontinent. The people thought, especially the Muslims of India subcontinent, that English was not a good language for them. They believed that the English language will take them away from their religion. That was a misconception. That was not a fact. One person who really worked very hard for the development of the English language for Muslims in India was Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. He traveled extensively, raised funds. He started a small school at Ghazipur, India. It was a small place, Ghazipur. From that he shifted to Aligarh, where he established a big school. Later it was upgraded to college and university after his death. There was no other way than learning the English language for economic, political, social, and educational development of Muslim girls and boys. And he went door to door, he spoke to people and convinced them about the importance of the English language. Two other people, known as Ali Bradran, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali, they are known Ali Bradran. Muhammad Ali Johar started a newspaper called Comrade. It was an English paper, very small paper, weekly edition, but it was very important newspaper for Muslims and the English as well. Its language was crispy, idiomatic, very simple, smooth, and intelligible. So much so that the English people, even wives and husbands, brothers and sisters, vied with one another to have first look at the newspaper. It was so great a newspaper of the time. So this newspaper also increased interest of the people of India, especially Muslims, for learning the English language. And credit goes to these great people, Ali Bradran and Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Now, words make miracles. Words are important things in any language. With the help of alphabet or character, we make words. Words are units of expression. With the help of words, you speak, you write, you listen, and you even read. So words are made of characters or letters. In English, we have two kinds of words: simple word and compound word. No matter how small A or A is, first letter and first word of the English dictionary, and how big paraphernalia, teleprinter, belongings, aristocracy, bibliography, horticulture, and so on. So we can make words with the help of characters. In English, we have 1.2 million words, 12 lakh lafz, and they are used differently, with different meanings. And averagely, every word has at least 10 meanings, at least 10. Let me give you a few examples. This small word go has 35 meanings. You may find some other meanings: Webster, Chambers, and Merriam. And also you may find some more meanings of word go in Cambridge Dictionary. So it's a rich vocabulary as far as words are concerned and their usage. At is a very small word. It has more than 30 uses. Its pronoun has at least 18 rules and more than 35 rules. It's a rich language use and vocabulary and its currency all over the world. Now, kinds of sentences. From grammar point of view, there are 5 kinds. Simple sentence, assertive means bayani. It is subdivided into 2 kinds, positive and negative. Then we have interrogative, exclamatory, imperative, and optative. From a structure point of view, we have 3 kinds of sentences: simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence. So these sentences, when used appropriately, communicate the right desired sense, and you enjoy speaking and writing. Now, English explorers, I already mentioned 2 great persons. Now, grammar-wise and use. Now, 2 Englishes are mainly used in our dictionary: American English and the British English. There are 3 main differences between these 2 Englishes. One is the difference of spelling, other is the difference of pronunciation, and the third is the difference of pronunciation and spelling. We normally follow American English. It's right, no harm in it, but we should also follow the spelling, pronunciation, and grammar rules of the British English or UK English. Now, if you happen to explore the pages of dictionary, you will find big difference. For example, you will find relative pronouns very much used in British English. Also, relative adverbs very much used in British English. And Americans sometimes they skip them, they omit them, don't use them. But those differences are trivial, superfluous, don't bother about them. Main thing is meaning of the word, dictionary, and its words, meaning and the usages. Now coming to English authors. We have great giants in English literature. Pre-classical age, we find there was no great authors. But the age came where a great master of English took birth. It was Geoffrey Chaucer. It was 14th century. He lived hardly 45 years and died in 1400, exactly 1400. He is known as the father of the English poetry. His Canterbury Tales is a masterpiece in which he shows some pilgrims going to Canterbury telling one another stories. It's a classical English, a marvelous English. Now you won't find such kind of English these days. We have now modern English. Even Shakespearean English is not current now. You will find that English in his books, but not used very much in everyday communication and writing skills. So English has developed with the passage of time, especially during Chaucer to this day. Now we have certain ages in English. Chauceran age or classical age, then middle age, then early modern age, then modern age, then late modern, which is now just like language. Now in 16th century, which is called Renaissance age. Renaissance means rebirth. In science, technology, education, many disciplines. People developed law, especially Great Revolution came in France, then that took place, its effect in England, and from that time on, we find great revolution in literature as well, like in medicine, agriculture, trade, commerce, and industry. So that was the age of Queen Elizabeth. She never married, but she was a very good scholar. She was a good pattern of literature, politics, and all discipline of the country. During her age, like that of Queen Elizabeth, England developed a lot. During this Elizabethan age, which is known as the Renaissance age, or Elizabethan age, or Shakespearean age, four great people took place. Edmund Spenser, who is known as the poet's poet, William Shakespeare, John Milton, Francis Bacon. They were followed by Thomas Gray, a great classical and romantic poet. Both kinds of poet we find in his poetry. So these people, known as the greatest literary giants, did well in English language. For example, Francis Bacon. He wrote very good essays, pithy, concise, pregnant, full of meaning, and assertive essays. He really revolutionized English prose to a great extent. And his technique were followed by other essays as well. Later, novelists like Thomas Hardy, Charles Dickens, Charlotte, they all added to English literature marvelously. Now in modern English, we have D.H. Lawrence, Ernest Miller Hemingway, and many, many more. All these authors have really enriched the English language like any other literature in the world. Now taking example of this part of the land where we dwell, we can find that we people are not much interested in this language. Even we have forgotten our religious book, the Holy Quran. We don't read it. If you go through it, like other books, religious books, we can find marvelous English. I also advise always my students to go through English translation of the Holy Quran, and you will find vocabulary. Nobody else knows as good vocabulary as Allah does. He is Alim, He knows. So his vocabulary, his choice of words, His presentation of ideas in simple, very concise, very smooth language. If you happen to read English translation of Holy Quran, your English will improve a lot. Just try today. You'll find very good books. And English translations are available in the market, in mosque even. Makki Masjid में English translation की किताब पढ़िए, बेहतरीन किताब. People have worked very lot. To translate Holy Quran into any other language, very difficult task. You can't translate word for word, but people have worked really hard and produced English translation of the Holy Quran. It's a marvelous. Then we have romantic poets. Unfortunately, sadly enough, word romantic has been very much misused in our context and culture. Romance doesn't mean cheap love. Romance will create something from your passion, emotion, strong feelings, and deep thinking. It is just like against classical poetry, because in classical you have to be passionate, very serious, very grave, and very thoughtful. Here you express your ideas through words, like flower, daffodils, lines composed upon Westminster Bridge, Lycidas, other poems by Edmund Spenser, Fairy Queen, and so on. These people really have done a lot. John Keats died early age, maybe in late 20s, 27, 28. P.B. Shelley died in early 20s, but they have produced marvelous things in the English poetry, especially the romantic poetry. Now coming back to vocabulary, which I believe as a humble teacher, half of the English is embedded in vocabulary. If your vocabulary is quite right, very rich, you can speak well, write well, think well, read well, write well. It's a very important thing. The more words you have to your credit, the better you can write and speak, no problem. But take some time. But the things we couldn't do in 50 years, you people can make it possible in 5 years. जो काम हम 50 साल में नहीं कर सके, आपके लिए 5 साल काफ़ी है, बड़ा अरसा है आपके लिए. आप ऐसे बेहतरीन दौर में पैदा हुए. You have got marvelous things to your disposal. Even mild touch of your finger or thumb, you can find the world around. Google. You can do a lot, study a lot, know a lot. Okay, in vocabulary we have synonyms, words having similar meanings. And I would say with confidence that some words have one word having 30 synonyms. 30 लफ्ज़ उसके हम माना है, लेकिन इसका हमारा अलग है, बड़ा अलग है. Antonyms, words having opposite meaning. Homonym means word having same spelling, same pronunciation, different meanings. They are not homonym. Homo means same. Then we have homophones, words having same sound, maybe different spelling, different meaning, but same sound. Then pairs of words like advice, practice, swim, float, sink, drown, and so on. There are hundreds in number. Dictionary is full of pairs of words, and also brain teasers, means bogglers. Words that puzzle you how to use and how to understand. It's not that difficult if you really have keen interest in learning them. You can find them out. It's really a wonderful thing. Then we have initials, United Nations Organization. Initials are UNO. International Monetary Fund, IMF. International Labour Union, ILU. International Court of Justice, ICJ, in The Hague, Netherlands. So these are initials. Then we have abbreviations, for example, professor. Last letter is R. We finish it at F. There will be one period or stop. This is abbreviation of professor. Then doctor, Mr., Mrs. When first and last letters are there, you don't need this period. This is all nonsense and silly mistake. पहला लेटर भी है और आखिरी लेटर भी है तो फुल स्टॉप या इनिशियल डॉट नहीं आएगा. आपका एग्जामिनर हर चीज़ चेक करता है, हर चीज़, क्योंकि उसके आगे एक अमानत है. समझिए, 80 वाले को 80 देगा, 8 वाले को 8 देगा, वो बांटेगा नहीं, जवाबदार है वो. Then we have contractions. Do not, don't, will not, won't, cannot. These are contraction, मुखफ़िफ़. Phrases and idioms. These are just like colors of a language, a soul of a language, John of a language. There are 25,000 phrases, idioms. Of them, 19,000 are formal, means standard, and 6,000 are non-standard or informal. They are noun phrases, verb phrase, prepositional phrase, adjective phrase, and adverbial phrase. Dictionary is full of them with green ink. You have a look at them, you'll find a word in them. You'll enjoy reading them. Then we have use of articles, as we did yesterday. Definite article and indefinite article. They have a different word, very good use of them. And of them, this article is very important and very vulnerable, means it can be attacked anyway. Take great care of use of the definite article. It's very important. इस्तेमाल नहीं आ रहा है, मत इस्तेमाल करें. इस्तेमाल आ रहा है, करें वरना छोड़ दें. ये ख़तरनाक आर्टिकल है. ये आपके ऐसे में अंबार जमा कर देगी गलतियों का. Now don't think that this is very important. It's important in the sense of use. If you misuse them, you are punished. You are penalized. Words of a speech, which are known as parts of a speech. Including articles, we have 9 parts of a speech. And all these parts of a speech are used for making sentences and paragraphs, clauses, phrases, idioms, passages, and long essays. These are very important. As a humble teacher of English, having little experience, I would say, if you want really to improve your English, study parts of his speech or words of his speech. They are key to the language. Then literary genres. Adabi Sinafe. In what way adab is written? Novel, drama, story, film script, stories for children, criticism, folklore, stage plays. These all are known literary genres. Genres, it's pronounced genre. Adabi Sinaf. Through Adabi Sinaf, you can write poetry, prose, novel, drama, criticism, and so on. The first ever genre that man invented was poetry. We all are thinkers, good poets, good lovers of nature, and good people who can understand what is going around us. We can express ourselves the best way through poetry. So the first ever genre of human beings is poetry. It is also called verse. V-E-R-S-E. Verse कुरानी आयत को भी कहते हैं, शेर को भी कहते हैं, same spelling. So from of poetry there is prose, novel. Novel has 2 meanings. Novel as a noun means afsana, and novel means something new, adjective, same spelling, homonym. Then drama or play. In drama or play, we have a great name of William Shakespeare. He wrote 36 plays, including tragedies, comedies, histories, and romance. His tragedies, most important tragedies, world-known tragedies are Macbeth, King Lear, Antony Cleopatra, Othello, and Hamlet. He has created marvelous plays. I sometimes wonder whether he was able to write them or not, or somebody else did it. But he could make it. 36 plays and 105, 105 sonnet. Sound is a kind of poem that has 14 lines with 2 parts. Its first part is octave, from mathematical octave. Means first part comprising 8 lines. In this part, the poet gives some philosophy or some thought or some idea, main idea. In the next part, comprising 6 lines, called sestet. Sestet. It is in which he gives the final feelings, closing feelings, very deep-rooted, very emotional feelings about what he feels in the poem. For example, On His Blindness by John Milton. Lines composed upon Westminster Bridge by William Wordsworth. These are masterpieces in sonnet. The greatest ever sonnet writers are John Milton, William Wordsworth, William Shakespeare, and Thomas Gray. William Wordsworth wrote more than 300 sonnets and is known as greatest romantic poets ever. Now, a style of writing. What way you put down your idea? May it be academic writing, functional English, technical English, writing for stories and films, writing for stage dramas or newspapers or articles and journals. You need some style of writing. When you write some story, maybe true or fictional, it is called narrative. When you describe something, it's called descriptive. When you describe facts of both sides critically, that is called expository. But when you write something from far and against, with some cause and effect and result and conclusion and suggestion, that is called critical writing. That is called critical. Then you need creative writing. That is also kind of writing. For example, simply I give you idea, economy of Pakistan, politics of Pakistan, failure of economy of Pakistan, educational system, its deterioration, different topics, whatever may be, you can write from your own mind. Brainstorming, that is called creative writing or creation of writing. You create something from your own. But the thing is how to create. The person who doesn't listen to a language, how can he or she speak? So best ever speaking comes through listening. Listening and great deal of vocabulary to your credit or to your mind. Likewise, a person who reads extensively can write very well. Because through extensive reading, you come to know ideas, phrase, idiom, structure, writing styles, different thesis statement, different ideas of authors. So you have a bulk of ideas in your brain. You can sort them out and write the way you like. So through listening, we know speaking. And through extensive reading, large reading, we know how to write. 4 skills. In every language, there are 4 skills. A small baby who is just born, doesn't know what's going around. Very small baby, little baby, doesn't have any sense. But there comes a time when it develops some sense, it can hear sounds, whistling, some rattling, some noises. He cannot make a sense it. But with the passage, he develops some sense, what's going around. So then he starts speaking, speaking. It babbles, tutlaata hai, baata hai to bit kare to. It speaks indistinctly, unclearly, but it can make some sense. Parents know what is going around, what he is speaking about. The baby, the same way baby speaks whatever it thinks better to express his or her ideas. The 3rd skill is reading. When a child is sent to school or college or madrasa, it reads there sometime, maybe religious book, maybe textbook, maybe some book about the country or geography or history and hygiene, physiology and so on. The 4th skill is the writing skill. Very important skill. The moment you start writing, thoughts that dawn on you. You have got the best ever brain in the world. Adam alayhi salam was blessed with this brain. The same you have with you. If you utilize it in the best way possible, you can make marvels. Depends how much interest you have for a language or a subject and so on. Now, language, right from beginning, apart from academic and other school or college level, we have certain kinds of language. One is colloquial. Colloquial means spoken language. No matter you have been to school or college or you should not, you are simply illiterate, but you know the language you are born with. Your mother knows the language, you speak the same language, your brothers, sisters, and neighborhood all speak the same language. So you know from culture and place where you are born. The first language is mother tongue, then colloquial, then we have slang. Slang is non-standard language. Non-standard language. अब हम कहते हैं पैसे नहीं है, अदा मोर डोकर ना है, ये स्लैंग है. डोकर क्या हो गया? स्लैंग, मतलब आम लैंग्वेज जो कि किताबों में नहीं है. स्टैंडर्ड लैंग्वेज, दिस कम्स विद ग्रामर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, you need subject, you need verb, you need object to make transitory sentence. You make sentence having subject, verb and object. It is called transitive. When the subject goes back away from verb to the object, it just shifts to other place. It is called transitive sentence. I eat my meals late in the evening. I subject. Eat verb, meals object, transitory. इसको सिंधी उर्दू में फ़ैल मुतादी कहते हैं. वो जुमला जिसमें फ़ाइल भी हो, फ़ैल भी हो, मफ़ऊल भी हो. देन वो ये इंट्रांजिटिव, फ़ैल लाजमी जिसमें ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं होता. आई गो टू स्कूल एवरी डे. आई से प्रेयर्स. वी लिव टू ईट. हम खाने के लिए जिंदा हैं. क्या खाते हैं उसका जिक्र नहीं है. इंट्रांजिटिव हो गया. जब ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं होगा तो इंट्रांजिटिव हो जाएगा, फ़ैल लाजमी हो जाएगा. नाउ काइंड्स ऑफ इंग्लिश. We have several kinds of English taught in schools and colleges. First one is the basic English. That comprises grammar, vocabulary, some grammar rules, some translation methods, narration, voice, kinds of sentences, transformer from assertive to negative, negative to positive and so on. This is called basic English. Then we have remedial English. Remedial mana islahi. Reformative. If my English is not good, I am bad at English, I have to improve it. So course that I will study will be called remedial English. Sudhare wali English, Islah wali English. Then we have functional English, writing letters, memos, everyday business applications. This is called functional English. The technical English for science, engineering and technology. Then we have business English. And business like Karobari Angrezi is called business English. Now, kinds of English again to reflect on. It being widespread language, it is spoken in different dialects, accents, and pronunciation. Apart from British English and North American English, we have Singlish, Singapore English. We have Hong Kong English, New Zealand English, and Australian English. Also, we have Malaysian English. They are different with some different meanings because people living there have different accents and pronunciation. You may speak very good English, no doubt you can, possible, but the person who is born and bred in England, in the USA or English-speaking country, he or she can speak very well because he is born there, educated there, and bred there and grown up there. So we people, with a limited knowledge or grammar, we can really do very well, provided we really adhere to grammar rules, enrich our vocabulary, and perform it very well. Overnight study is not possible. No matter you are how much interested in the language, you have to spare some time. You have to work hard. Only then you can perform very well. It takes two to make a noise. Tali dua se bajti hai. That's for accomplishment of some subject or mastery, you have to spare some time and work very hard. Just get up any time, maybe at midnight, or in the morning, midday, when you feel like writing something. Jot down some ideas, write something. You'll come to know that something meaningful has been written. And that's not the end of the world. You can improve it. There is always room for perfection. Room for correction, if not perfection. We all make mistakes. Nobody is exceptions. We all make mistakes. Even lawyers, judges, very good writers, columnists, journalists, editors, they make mistakes. So there is always room for correction. So read something every day. Learn at least 10 to 15 words with their meaning and spelling. See how they are used in the dictionary. Dictionary is a good source of learning language. A good dictionary gives you a good insight into the language. It's a good book. For example, read some article, maybe about any court decision, commerce, industry, education, games, sports, personality, or maybe some obituary, some other information, advertisement, whatever. Read it, find out difficult words, and see how they are used. For example, word after and before. How they are used at different places. That is called textual meaning. Dictionary gives you a variety of meanings of words. For example, if you read a paragraph, it will give you letters, and from letters you make words. So the first sight, first look at the words will be meaning of literal meaning. Lafzan ji lafzi mana. Lafzi mana kya bata raha hai? Then you go on reading, you will find textual meaning. What is the meaning of the text there? Then contextual meaning, matan. आगे इस लफ्ज़ की माना क्या था, यहाँ क्या है, वहाँ क्या दे रहा है. Contextual. Then scientific meaning. Literal meaning. Literal means literary meaning. Adabi mana. Literary. Then scientific meaning. Phrasal meaning. Idiomatic meaning. Metaphorical meaning. Legal meaning. Earth science meaning. Marine science meaning. There are so many kinds of meanings you will find there. And with some hard work, you can become very good speaker or writer, no matter what age you are is, how poor or rich you are. But once you have got some education, that is your wealth. It is indestructible. Everything can be lost. Knowledge cannot be lost. It is with you as long as you live. अब हम थोड़ा और काम करेंगे. बस क्लोज. Enough?